Hi everyone, I'm Kathy C. Patterson. Just in case we haven't met or you haven't seen any of my video chats, I've been doing them now for quite a while. It wasn't supposed to start off with this many, but every time I have a conversation with someone, I get inspired to talk about different things. So today is one that's a little bit deep, but I've been dealing with it and I've been introspective about it myself. I heard someone talk about happiness, and we all know that happiness is different from joy because happiness is something that can be messed up by external factors. Joy is something which we exude from the inside out. But anyway, so she was talking about how she had not been happy for a long time. And it made me start thinking myself about when was the last time I was happy, really happy, and not, I guess, interfered with by any external forces that would be available. And you can be happy, momentarily, and something can go bad or whatever. But anyway, that's a philosophical discussion, and a psychological discussion. But one of the things I thought about in my book, Thoughts to Ponder, and this is it, and I talk about it often with you guys when you show up, talking about pain and triggers. And triggers, I think, are those things which remind us of painful times in our lives. But the other day, I heard a little bit of what was a sermon, actually, that Bishop Jakes did. And it really impacted me in a way and made me start thinking even deeper about where I am and the introspective moments and moods I have. And one of the things, I took notes from it because one of the things he talked about is we all have a purpose. And I say that all the time. We all have a purpose. We just have to find out what that purpose is and understand that our purpose and our missions are different. And it's our missions which allow us to work out our purpose. But one of the things he said, which really blessed me, when he said, corruption and destruction are two different things, meaning that the environment in which you are placed can be corrupted, but it can't destroy the purpose or the vision. Okay, so why do I say that? Well, it made me think about triggers. And I went back to the book that I wrote, and one of the essays I wrote was on pain. If you have the book, I'm reading from page 22. But one of the things I wrote is that unresolved hurts, betrayals, rejections, abandonments, and abuses can lead to a scarred heart, which damages mental well-being. When allowed to control one's life, painful memories can be destructive. No one is excluded from a period of pain. Emotional pain causes suffering, humiliation, secrets, and indignity. The reflection looking back in the mirror can be debilitating. For example, how could I allow that to happen? Or how did I become the definition of the abuse perpetrated against me? It is the indignity that creates vulnerability, resulting in triggers. Okay, so I began to run through my mind some of the things which may have corrupted my environment and changed the thoughts that I had about myself and who am I and what is my value? What is my purpose? What am I valuable? Am I worthy? Am I loved? And I started running it back, and it was amazing when I really thought about it in terms of a timeline. So back in the 60s, there was an instance of sexual molestation, okay? Then in the 70s, my paternity was revealed. Okay, that's a betrayal. And then in the 1980s, there were several different breaches in relationships, family, church, friendships, all of that. And then in the 90s, my mother became very ill and had a period of time where she was in a habilitative state, if you will, and never really recovered from that. And then in the 2000s, not to mention the fact that we had Katrina, I lost a business, an entire business, and a contract. Okay, so when I thought about all of those things, and then I thought, wow, all right, so where am I now? I understand now how all of those things really impacted my ability to move forward for years, not understanding who God created me to be, which is why I am always saying it all the time. It wasn't until I went to a conference and I was faced with all of these things and the things that had happened and had been perpetrated against me that I realized that's not who I am. It's just not. It was perpetrated against me, but it still didn't have anything to do with the purpose, the reason I was born, and it certainly didn't have anything to do with the missions. But one of the things I realized is that I have a girlfriend, very close friend, and her word, she said she thinks she came to the earth because she had to learn faith. Mine is love. And because it is, I have been put in many unloving situations. And so I recognize a pattern when people are being unloving, and I recognize the pattern when people are being loved or exuding love. So I guess the whole point of this is to understand that you have a purpose, you're worthy, you are amazing, you are incredible just the way you are. You have to know that for yourself, because there will be people who will try to make you think that you're not. Remember, we talked about Eleanor Roosevelt saying, no one can make you feel inferior without your own permission. And it made me think about Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outliers. And one of the things he wrote in here, he talked about the ecology of an organism. In other words, the tallest oak in the forest is the tallest, not just because it grew from the hardiest acorn. It is the tallest also because no other trees blocked its sunlight. The soil around it was deep and rich. No rabbit chewed through its bark as a sapling, and no lumberjack cut it down before it matured. So you know what that means, right? That means that there are some of us who have been put in really horrible, heinous situations from childhood up. And some of us did not. Some of us had a very stable home life, and that's great. The bottom line is, no matter where you came from, it doesn't define who you are. So the end of this message is that, know that. I write it in the children's book when I do signings. You are amazing just the way you are. You do not have to change for anybody. All you have to do is hearken back to that thought. I am who God created me. He created me in his image and his likeness, and I'm going to go forward in that. So have a blessed day, and hopefully we will get together again soon. If you want to get the book, remember, you can get it through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, my website, www.kcploveproductions.com. It's available everywhere. And in the back, there are some kind of deep questions to make you think when you join your introspective moods. But anyway, we can get back and talk about some other wonderful things next time. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.